Under the cold light of the operating room, it was menacing. I've seen many strange cases in my career, but few compare to what my colleague, Dr. Jameson, encountered last year. The patient was a 64-year-old woman from New South Wales, Australia, who had been complaining of a persistent headache for several months. As Dr. Jameson recounted, at first, we thought it was just another case of migraines or tension headaches, but the symptoms didn't quite add up. The headaches were coupled with night sweats, a strange crawling sensation under her skin, and, most disturbingly, a rapid decline in her memory and mental acuity. She first presented to the local clinic with these symptoms, where the doctors there were puzzled. They conducted the usual tests, blood work, a brain MRI, and even a spinal tap to rule out meningitis. Everything came back inconclusive. The headaches were severe, often leaving her bedridden, and the strange sensations she described didn't fit with any known neurological condition. Dr. Jameson told me, she was referred to our hospital when the headaches became unbearable, and she started having seizures. That's when things took a turn for the worse. We admitted her immediately and conducted a battery of tests, EEGs, more MRIs, and even a PET scan to look for any signs of tumors or abnormal growths. The MRI scans showed something unusual in the frontal lobe of her brain, a lesion that didn't look like any standard tumor or cyst. There was a peculiar texture to it, almost as if it was moving. The team of neurologists and infectious disease specialists debated the findings endlessly. They considered everything from rare brain infections to autoimmune diseases, but nothing fit the profile. The tension in the hospital was palpable. Every day, the patient's condition seemed to deteriorate. Her confusion worsened, and she started losing weight rapidly, unable to keep food down. It was heartbreaking to see her in such a state, and Dr. Jameson confessed to feeling utterly helpless. "We were running out of options," he said. "I couldn't stand to see her suffer like this, and I knew we were missing something crucial." That's when Dr. Jameson decided to do something unconventional. He reached out to a parasitologist he knew from his days in medical school, Dr. Emily Green, who specialized in zoonotic diseases, those that jump from animals to humans. He sent her the patient's MRI scans and a detailed account of the symptoms. Emily responded almost immediately. "I remember her voice on the phone," Dr. Jameson said. "She was excited, almost like she had just stumbled upon a new species. She told me, 'Jameson, this isn't a tumor or a cyst. It's a worm. I'm almost certain of it. A worm. In the brain.'" The idea was both absurd and horrifying. Yet, the more Dr. Green talked, the more it made sense. The patient lived near a lake frequented by pythons. Dr. Green speculated that she might have inadvertently ingested the parasite's eggs, which are usually shed in python feces. The eggs could have been on contaminated vegetables or transferred from her hands to her mouth. Emily flew in the next day with a small team. She brought with her a few case studies of rare parasitic infections in humans, but nothing quite like this. "We're in uncharted territory," she told the team. "If we're right, this could be the first documented case of Ophidascaris robertsi infecting a human." The decision was made to perform a biopsy. It was a high-risk procedure, but it was their only shot at figuring out what was causing the woman's symptoms. I remember the tension in Dr. Jameson's voice when he recounted the surgery. "I was in the operating room with Emily and the neurosurgeon, Dr. Patel. We were all holding our breath as he made the incision. As Dr. Patel carefully extracted a small section of the lesion, the operating room lights glared down on the sterile field. Then, something unexpected happened. I saw it first," Dr. Jameson said. "A tiny movement. At first, I thought it was just my eyes playing tricks on me. But then Emily gasped, 'There. Did you see that? It wriggled.' A thin, red worm, alive and squirming, slid out of the tissue sample. It was about 8 centimeters long, and even in the cold clinical light of the operating room, it looked menacing. I've never seen anything like it," Dr. Jameson admitted, still sounding a bit shaken by the memory. "We all stood there for a moment, just staring at it. It was like something out of a horror movie. The room was silent, save for the steady beeping of the monitors. The worm's movement was slow, almost lethargic, but unmistakably alive. Emily wasted no time. She carefully collected the worm and placed it in a sterile container. 'Ophidascaris robertsi,' she whispered. I can't believe it. The rest of the surgery went smoothly, and the patient was moved to recovery. They immediately started her on a regimen of antiparasitic medications, hoping to kill any remaining larvae or eggs in her system. The worm was sent off to the lab for further analysis, and over the next few days, news of the discovery spread like wildfire through the hospital. Dr. Jameson visited the patient the next day. She was groggy but lucid, he said. I explained what we had found. She didn't believe me at first, thought she was still in a dream. But when I showed her the pictures, her eyes widened. She was shocked, of course, but also relieved to finally have an answer. Over the next few weeks, the patient's condition improved significantly. The headache subsided, her memory started to return, and the strange sensations she had been feeling gradually disappeared. It was as if a dark cloud had lifted. She was a completely different person, Dr. Jameson said with a smile. I remember her telling me, I feel like I've been given a second chance at life.